middle school language arts teacher and author of the YA series The Elementals and the Lucia Chronicles. This is a YA slash adult, because I'm actually not sure what category it falls into, book review of The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This book has been around for a while. It was published in 2012, and I'm going to try and make this review without spoilers. So the general premise of this book is we have Celia and Marco, and they both practice real magic. But Celia practices real magic under the guise of illusion, and Marco is just kind of sneakier about it, and it's not like he doesn't try to disguise it, but he's really picky about how he uses his magic. And what ends up happening is there are two very old teachers, and one of them is Celia's father, and they bind Celia and Marco into kind of like a competition. But how the competition is resolved is eventually one of the contestants dies. And so for a while they don't know who the other one is, and it starts when they're children, and it's written in third person. And this man gets an idea for the Circus of Dreams, and it only opens at night, and there are different tents. You know, I kind of think of it almost like Cirque du Soleil a little bit. Like, it's more about, you know, fortune telling and an illusionist and acrobats, and, you know, there's some traditional kind of circus things, but then there's other more magical things. And so Celia and Marco are competing, kind of not knowing exactly how they're competing because the rules aren't very clear. And they kind of go through the circus as the venue, and Celia is in the circus, but Marco is just an assistant to the creator of the circus. And they end up creating different exhibitions without kind of realizing at first exactly why they're doing it or who they're doing it for. Eventually they do meet, and when they meet, which it says it's on the back so it's not a spoiler, they fall in love, and that kind of puts everything in jeopardy because the circus has kind of taken on a life of its own. There is a second part to the story, and it is about a character named Bailey. And for a while you're kind of wondering, like, okay, he attends the circus, but what exactly is his role in this? And by the end, you kind of see everyone's role within the circus and how each person affects another person. And I thought this book was really magical, excuse the pun, because I really liked the world building. It kind of takes place in the late 1800s, early 1900s, so do pay attention when you read to the chapter headings, because sometimes you're jumping into the future and then going back into the past. And so the past kind of feels like the present, but really the future ones are actually the present. And it's just very, like, the descriptions and the world building, and I liked the pace. I did see on Goodreads that some people gave it a low rating because I guess they were expecting, like, I don't know what they were expecting. I don't know if they were expecting, like, blood and gore, or if they were expecting, like, them to have, like, a violent sort of duel or whatever, but this book totally met my expectations. I don't feel that the description was misleading at all. It's more about the narrative and about relationships than about action. This isn't a book that's, like, leading up to a fast-paced climax where there's going to be a duel to the death against the lovers. Like, it's not like that. So if you're going in expecting it to be like that, then you're going to be sorely disappointed. I feel like so many of the popular YA books now are just, like, either super sexual, it seems, from what I've, like, some of them I haven't even read. I've just gathered from either fan art or from what I've seen, you know, posted on Bookstagram, or they're, like, crazy violent. Like, some of the books I still enjoy, but I find myself skimming over certain parts because, like, what's the point? There is no, like, to me, there's no point to that. It's not necessary, you know. And it kind of reminds me of how the other day I saw, you know, like, The Ring, the original movie The Ring came out way back when, and, you know, I think it was probably rated R, and I've never really been a fan of, like, horror movies and scary movies because I have very vivid dreams. And now there's the new version of that, and it's only PG-13, and it makes me wonder, like, are we becoming so desensitized that once, you know, what happens to this generation of kids now? Like, my friend has a son who's 2. Like, the next version of The Ring is going to come out when he's older, and is it going to be rated PG? Are we going to start having like horror movies and movies filled with violence, like rated G, everybody come on in, who cares if you're 6 years old? So it's a very weird phenomena, and sorry for being a little preachy on it, but I just find it strange. So I'm not sure if people were expecting something like that in this book, because the word dual is used, but it's not like that at all. And I actually appreciate that fact even more, that there was no parts in this book that like gave me anxiety. Did it make me feel emotions? Yes. I felt happy and frustrated at certain points, and I felt, sad, especially as we neared the end, but there weren't any parts that I had to skim over because I felt they were like either unnecessary, offensive, or like inappropriate. And this kind of is in the venue of like an older fashioned sort of storytelling, and it's magical and the imagery is very vivid. And I gave it 5 stars, and I'm in good company because in those reviews, Maggie Stiefvater, who's one of my favorite authors, also gave it 5 stars. And she did a really interesting review about like, it wasn't a traditional book review. It was like, if you're expecting this, that's not what this book is. This book has this, this, and this instead. So the Night Circus is amazing. I'm kind of disappointed that Erin Morgenstern doesn't have any other books out, because she's obviously a wonderful storyteller. So if you like romance and magic and just really strong world building and storytelling, then you should enjoy the Night Circus. In the meanwhile, happy reading and happy writing.